welcome to Just Talk Funerals with me, Jason Threadgold.
And me, Nichola Threadgold.
Just Talk Funerals is all about the funeral industry, the people that work alongside us, and an insight into what we do.
We will have some special guests along the way, sharing their experiences and how their professions overlap with what we do.
So get yourselves comfy, grab yourselves a cuppa, and let's get into today's episode of
Just Talk Funerals. Hello and welcome to another episode of Just Talk Funerals. And today Jason and I will be talking about the people behind funeral homes. I think we've got to establish, haven't we, Jason, that, you know, a funeral home is not just a building. There's a amazing, I mean, certainly for ours, and I know there is a lot in the UK, you know, a team behind a funeral home. You know, they've got to be spot on, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, they've got to be streamlined as well, haven't they? It's not just the people at the front that you see on a day-to-day basis. There's all the other people behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think today we're going to be talking about the skills, the heart of the people, really, isn't it? And, you know, what they stand for. And I guess we'll end up talking a lot about our own team because they're fantastic, aren't
Amazing,
they?
yeah. And I guess we'll touch on about recruiting and how we sort of look for these kind of people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I guess the first thing to talk about is, you know, when somebody calls to say that sadly they've lost one, or they call into our offices for information, who are the people that they may see?
A lot of the time it's probably going to be the administration team. So these are the people that are front of house, if you want to call them that. So yeah. Predominantly women in our company currently, so you would maybe be met by at least one or two of them when you walk into an office, because all of our offices are open offices. You don't walk into a reception area and then wait for somebody to come to you. No. You literally walk into an open space where you're greeted by somebody straight away.
Yeah.
There might be other people within that room, but it would probably be the administrators or one of the directors that would deal with you straight away. They would obviously sit you down, start taking some information from you, show their condolences to you, and then start the process moving. So they'll gather that bit of information from you, or you might have already spoke to them or met them before, so it might be a familiar face, because we deal with families multiple times. Yeah. And you kind of get that relationship where you know, and I guess sometimes you probably know who works in what offices on what days as well. Yeah. So people might choose to come in on specific days when they know full well it's a certain person that's going to be in that office.
Well, bonds start to be created, don't they?
They
Relationships start to...
Extended family, we'll call them.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll just ask a few little bits about other people if you're all right with that. So we know about administrators that are working there. What about people that work... not all the time within the company, but they seem to be there all the time. So your driver bearers. Yeah. What's your thoughts? I know we've talked about them and how we feel about them in a past thing, but they work really like a front of house element of the team when it comes down to the actual funeral service, don't they?
Yeah. And I think, you know, probably for people looking in, the driver bearers are like a silent team that come in, aren't they? Because they come in to do their role, which is obviously on the funeral day, and get involved very silently but very sleekly in the role that they're doing, don't they? But, you know, in terms of working with them, with the rest of the team, you know, they're very active, aren't they, in other areas of our business, and actually they come up with some great ideas, don't they?
They do often, actually, and it'll have no relevance on this podcast going out today, but one of the bearers came in to me yesterday and came up with a cracking idea that we'd not even thought of before.
Which was very practical.
It was very practical. But yeah, so no, they do get involved in an awful lot of things, and it's not just driving limousines and hearses and carrying people's coffins. A lot of the time they're getting involved with some of the other team members, like the mortuary team members or the funeral directors, in bringing people into our care when they've passed away. Yeah. They'll do all sorts of other work as well. They might get involved in the car cleaning, they might get involved in coffin preparation. Wherever there's a need for additional work to be done, your driver bearers, they're kind of categorised as driver bearers, but they're not. They're multi-skilled members of the team.
They're very flexible, aren't they?
They are very flexible, and a lot of them are middle-aged, elder
well, you
people.
Say that. We've got a couple.
We've got a few young ones, but they're predominantly... And they bring with so many life skills, don't they?
Yeah.
And they just know how to do something. Like if something needs fixing, they might take a real practical way of doing it.
Yeah.
So it's funny how they get involved in an awful lot of what needs to be done around the funeral homes.
And you talk about life skills, and you know, certainly our crew, if you like, they're very good at customer service, aren't they? And the way they talk with the families, you know, when they're driving the cars, I know they have conversations with the families, probably at the point where the funeral has taken place, and there's that sense of relief and a little bit more, feeling a bit more relaxed. You know, the driver can talk to, or the families want to talk to the driver, don't they?
Yeah, some cracking conversations, especially like you say, on the way back from a funeral.
Yeah.
On the way to a funeral, it's usually a little bit quieter.
Yeah, people
I
are
mean,
in
there's
their own
conversation
space.
going on, but you're not necessarily going to be having the same sort of conversations as you are on the way back, because you can just see in people when you've left a funeral service that weight of you're in limbo land kind of thing, and you've got all that pressing down on you, the tension of the build up to the funeral service. Is it all going to go right in their eyes? Have we done the right thing? But then when they've kind of finished, they got back in the car to drive home, you can literally see that
It's
all that weight's
different,
lifted and you have different conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
And our team, they can adapt to any conversation that's brought upon them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So that's sort of the driver bearers that are sort of within our funeral home. And then if we talk about like the funeral directors, and, you know, the funeral directors we have, you know, they've virtually been taught by you, haven't they? You know,
I'll say us, we won't say me.
Yeah, but I mean, you are more the funeral side, aren't you? I'm more operations.
In the context of what happens in a funeral service itself, then
absolutely. You know, and we've got George and Lauren that have been with us for quite a number of years now, haven't they?
Yeah.
And then we've just promoted Shannon.
Shannon's doing really well, yeah.
She's a young girl that came to us from retail, isn't she? And we've you can see her confidence has just gone. It's mad, isn't it, to watch how her personal journey has happened. But now she's got into the role of trainee funeral director, hasn't she? And to me, it's always a great story, isn't it, when you're promoting from within, you know, especially when you thought maybe, I don't know whether Shannon ever thought she would aspire to be a funeral director. I think in the early days, you know, you think, you know, is that something she would aspire to? But the fact that she's in this role and she's doing extremely well, you know, it's lovely to see, isn't it? The growth of how people...
It is, and I'll quite openly say that it was a couple of years ago when we had a position come up for a funeral director. She put herself forward for that position, and we established at that point through conversation with her,
she wasn't
you're
ready.
Not quite ready yet, but by God, you will be a funeral director at some point. And it was just natural progression when a vacancy came up. We went through the same interview process as we already do.
Yeah.
But she made it through. She got the position. And just listening to her, even if you're not in the same room as her, how she talks to people and how she's
got a lovely gift.
She's so eloquent. And I think she spent a lot of time around a lot of elderly people. She'll admit that.
Yeah.
And her lingo is just on point. And
say she's a young girl.
Yeah. I mean, much as we'll give people the skills they need to do their role, we can't change that person. We wouldn't want to change that person, so we want you to be natural. And she's just naturally gifted, as all of our team are, in how they put themselves across to people.
And you know, we've talked about George and Lauren as the funeral directors, but again, internally they have progressed, haven't they, within the last couple of years, and they are now our operations managers as well. And what's interesting is for them is they've now got these different roles, haven't they, in terms of that their management side is sort of looking after the team, isn't it? It's about the people and the culture.
Yeah, and culture's massive in our company until we know this.
Hence why we're talking about people.
And I think, again, coming from where they were, because they were in the industry when they joined us, and they've only been with us a number of years. They have jumped rank, if you think, really quickly to get to where they are, but that's only off their own backs. It's only through what we've seen in them and realising they've got that capability to do what's expected there. And they deal with pretty much everything now when it comes to who's where, logistics, when it comes down to rotas and everything, yeah, they deal with the culture in the background, and they're looking after people's welfare, take care of all the team. People go directly to them when they need something.
Yeah.
If they're not around, because they're really busy people, then people may well come to us. But majority of the time, they'd go directly to the line managers, which are Lauren and George.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And then obviously we've got the administrators, haven't we? You know, and I think what's interesting with the administrators and the crucial cog in their role is that they are very multi-skilled, aren't they?
Yeah, you wouldn't think when you walk into a funeral home that,
Yeah.
yes, this person's greeting you as you walked in, but maybe 40 minutes ago they were driving a hearse on a funeral or they'd been down to the hospice to help bring somebody into our care.
Yeah.
Everybody, and I mean everybody that works within our team is skilled at doing everything within the business, just in case they need to step into that role. Yeah. It's pointless having people that are just individually, well, all I can do is administration, all I can do is mortuary. You need to have everybody upskilled so that they're aware, if needed, much as they have a role on a day-to-day basis, but there might be occasions where we have to react to something where we might need your help with that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think through our own recruitment process, it's important, you know, people are not, you know, when we put administrator, you know, further along the line in the recruitment process, we talk around what the role involves, you know, because you're not just come in, it's very rare that you come in just to sit behind a desk and do some typing. It's just not that sort of role, is it? And I think we can sort of bring that out of people once we do get to meet them through the recruitment process as to who you feel is going to be the people that are going to be more interested in other types of roles within the funeral home and to become more multi-skilled, if you like. Yeah,
and I think we have quite a unique process in our recruit people that isn't like anybody else within the funeral industry. And I think that does help us. So we can sort of pick out key things with key people that maybe another funeral home wouldn't be able to pick up on. And it's very, very rare would we employ somebody that's already within the industry. Very rare. We tend to find that ours is a very unique way of doing what we do. And we don't want to necessarily bring somebody in that's already got traits from doing it in a different way. So it's usually best bringing people in that have the passion to do what they want to do and the drive to do what they want to do and be committed to it, instead of somebody that's necessarily, well, I've got this qualification and I've done this and done that. That's not what we're looking for.
In fact, if anything, qualification and CVs, we don't look at those until the very end of the recruitment process, do we? Because it's all about the people. And I think that's really important because it means that we're giving anybody within our community an opportunity to come and work with us. You know, you don't have to have certain skills, you don't have to have certain qualifications. At that point, we're just looking at the personality of a person. You know, anything else we can train them on. Personality, you cannot, you know.
And how many people do you think have been turned down for even interview because they've got a spelling mistake on the CV or something? Why would you judge somebody on that?
And that's
I'm not the best of spellers, I'll admit to that, and I've been called out on my grammar once or twice. I don't think I would get through to an interview process if it was based solely on a CV.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, certainly our recruitment process is very robust, isn't it? We're extremely proud of how we work it. I think it's also worth saying that from the day that advert goes out, whether it's on LinkedIn, social media, or, you know, Indeed, Facebook, you know, you are being tested. From that moment, because, you know, the instructions are specific. And when we talk about recruiting, you know, you've got to be able to, and the way we're working within our funeral home, one of the first things is whatever role you're in, you've got to be able to follow instructions. If you're trying to deviate away from that in terms of, you know, phoning our office saying, oh, I've seen an advert, well, the instruction doesn't tell you to phone our office. It doesn't tell you to try and contact us another way. It tells you what to do. And, you know, sadly, people do go by the way, because if we don't stick to that, you know.
Yeah, and I guess you can make that correlation to flip that and say, well, if somebody didn't follow a process on a funeral service, and they took it upon themselves to circumnavigate something,
Yeah.
that's where it would all go wrong.
Absolutely.
And we're not saying that we're pushy and bolshy in the fact that you must do this and you must do that.
No.
It's all for the benefit of the people that you're serving, that you do need to follow that process, because if you don't do that, potentially that's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
So you've got to be able to kind of take on board instruction from the people that are giving it to you, like your funeral directors and your managers.
Yeah.
They'll be doing it for the right reason, and it's for the benefit of those we serve.
Yeah, yeah. And, through the fact that we've got 27 in our team currently, shows it works, doesn't it? We've got some great people.
Yeah.
And, we're a team and things come together, don't they?
Yeah. So we've got one section of the team there that's been missed for the minute.
Yes.
So we have our mortuary team members.
Yeah.
Okay. So they are dealing with the physical sense of things. There's a lot of manual handling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotional tension in the sense that they're physically dealing with people in the raw state that need preparing.
Yeah.
Now, this could be anything from a natural death all the way through to suicide, murder, road traffic collision. It could be anything.
Yeah.
So they're mentally taking on board an awful lot of information and emotion.
Yeah.
I think what we sort of need to touch on is how we deal with that with the team members. And we talk about this a lot, where we sit down, we alleviate people's worries on anything. The best thing you can do is talk about anything.
Yeah.
But they do have a really complicated and stressful job, like everybody does within the team.
Yeah.
But in the physical sense and the mental side of dealing with a person that's passed away, I think they take a lot on board.
They do. I think it's lovely though, isn't it, at times though, where, families come in to view their loved one and they've come out so happy with how their loved one has looked and felt really comfortable with everything. And we're able to say, well, actually, it was this person that prepared your loved one. And, there are times where that person's maybe been in the office and we've said, and this is the person. And it's lovely to see that, isn't it?
There's a lot of gratitude from the family, isn't it?
Yeah, and, because they are behind closed doors in a sense, aren't they? And as much as we can say to them, oh, Mrs. So-and-so came in today and she just wants to pass on her thanks for everything you've done, actually for that person to be in the room with a family member, it's quite special, isn't it?
I think for them it is, and for us to watch it as well. Yeah, because they are kind of the hidden heroes, if you like, behind the scenes, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Shall we talk a little bit about how all of these people work together then to make it this streamlined service that we have?
Yeah.
So you've got your administrators, your morticians, you've got your directors, your managers, your driver bearers, and then I guess there's the company owners as well, because we've not really talked about the company owners. Ignoring me talking about Nichola, I think Nichola we all see as the head of the company. She's the one that holds us all together, like the mother figure, and she genuinely does. And I don't want to try and get you emotional.
No, please don't.
Talking about this, but everybody looks to you. They'll look at me for guidance in certain areas, but they definitely look at you. Everybody welcomes your company, and everybody wants a bit of you. All the time, don't they? And I mean, everybody wants a bit of you. They want to spend time with you. You have so many other things outside of the company that you're connected in, whether that's female entrepreneurship, not just on a local level, on a national level, the work you're doing at the House of Lords. There's all sorts of school governors. You put your hand to absolutely everything, and you are a massive wealth of knowledge to the team. And I can't let this episode go by without kind of mentioning this, and I don't want to get you choked up over it. But everybody does look at you as the top of the company and the person they can learn the most from. And if ever anybody is wanting advice, whether it be in a business sense, whether it's in a personal sense, you're not telling me it's not you that they don't come to. Yeah.
Oof, I don't know what to say after all that.
People lean on you because they know that they're going to get a compassionate ear. You'll look at everything pragmatically. We've used that word before. And you will find a way to deal with whatever issue they've got or if it's something they need to get off the chest, if it's an emotional element, if it's a health element, people will always look towards you to be able to get guidance on what to do, because you are this kind of leader. They'll come to me when they want something fixing, or they want something
'cause I
practical
can't.
doing. So,
Yeah.
we need that putting on there. But I think we couldn't let this episode go by without mentioning that. And I think
That's
if you were
very
to ask
kind.
any of the team and the public as well, if we asked the public, then you would all say that Nichola is probably one of the most highly regarded people, and especially female businesswomen in our area. You're at the top of the table. I'm just a little bit underneath you. And then we've got the rest of the team surrounding us. I think it makes for a really, really great team.
We are a great team, and I mean, thank you so much for that. I didn't expect any of that. Obviously, you can probably tell we don't rehearse these podcasts. I'm sort of feeling very choked about what you've said. But I think, we can't do it without all those guys, can we? And
you take away one of these people that's in one of these areas, and it's like taking a cog out.
Yeah.
It doesn't work if you take one of them away.
It is about the teamwork.
Yeah, and it should be like in any company, whether it's funeral directing, anything. If it's working in a shop, you need people as cogs to make every element work.
Yeah.
And I think we've created this system where the cogs are in the right places and everybody's doing the right things.
And as well, we spend a lot of time at work, don't we?
Yep.
And, and so do the team. If we can't come to work, and it is hard work, mentally and physically it can be. If we can't come to work and have a bit of where we can all get on, then it's a bit of a sorry state of affairs, isn't it? I think also, as I've alluded to in other podcasts, I am very interested in people. And I think I have had, because I do a lot of other things outside of work, it makes me tune into what other areas that I'm interested in, what is happening in terms of people in other industries. Mm-hmm. And I look at that very closely and think, can we bring that into our sort of funeral homes? Is that something we can look at? So I'm always very much trying to find ways to make things better all the time. I think the fact that we did, and I led the Investors in People project that we did, that was fascinating for me to go through that, to understand what else we could do for our people, and I really enjoyed that process. It's just important to me that we can all get on, and we have challenges and things we have to debate, and team meetings can sometimes be a little bit more interested than others, where people maybe don't agree with things, but we talk it through and we get to understand what people think. And as business owners, it's not just about us making the decisions.
No.
These guys are out there on the front line. We should be allowing them to make decisions and understand what needs to happen, and get them to give us ideas, because we don't know all the answers, do we?
Yeah, and I'll bounce you back to, because I know you're a big reader, about a book. Mr. Covey, is it Stephen Covey?
Yeah.
Trust and Inspire.
Yeah.
You've got to trust your team and inspire them to do these things.
Yeah, definitely.
For the benefit of themselves and the company as a whole.
Yeah, and we're not here to micromanage people, are we? We're here to let them have that freedom, to give them the tools to be able to do the role, to give them the training, but then give them that chance to flourish and manage their own workload is, what I like to see. And I think, why should we not do that with people?
So with that in mind then, what do you think makes people want to come into this profession and specific roles within this profession? Or shall I pick one of the roles?
Yeah, that might be...
Okay, let's start with the funeral directors then. So what do you think makes somebody think, I feel the need to become a funeral director?
I think it could be from a past experience. They've had an experience. I mean, we find that we'll do funerals for families, and then a few months later they might pop in and say, how do we get into your profession? Or they might email us, might they? Because they've seen how we've done things, and they feel that it's maybe an industry that they may quite enjoy being part of. So I think, there is that side, isn't there? But I think you've got to make sure that you are doing it for the right reasons. You know.
I think if people come into it with the wrong reasons, thinking, I want to be this person that's seen by everybody, I'm going to be leading everything, I'm going to be in charge of everything, it's the wrong attitude to come in.
Yeah.
If you've got a genuine care for the community and care for people, then that's a good starting block.
Yeah,
we can teach you and train you everything you need to know, but you've got to be the right person inside to want to give.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about that. It's not about taking.
Yeah.
It's all about giving to start with.
Yeah.
And then you create this role around that emotion.
I think, as a funeral director, well, some people may see it as a bit of a glorified role because you're in the community and you're walking in front of a hearse. By the time you've got to that bit, you've gone through a lot of hard slog, haven't you? Because, there's a lot to do. It's not an easy role. And I must say, coming into the funeral industry, obviously you were the funeral director, I was working at the crematorium. I have never really ever wanted to be the funeral director because, I think as much as I'm the caring side, I think I would worry too much about making sure I'd got everything spot on for that day because there is a lot, isn't there? You've got to be super organised, you've got to be able to flip from one thing to another, you've got to be reactive, and it's a lot, isn't it? It's not by any means an easy role.
No, and it's not for people that want to be glory hunters, not for them, because if you think you're coming along just doing that element, you've done everything else in the background before that. It's not about that, and it should never be about you.
No.
I use this line to everybody that we speak to, whatever emotion you're feeling or whatever it's about, whatever situation, it is never about you.
Yeah.
You're there to look after other people and facilitate things for other people, and you're a care provider. It's not about how I can look in the public and how I get to do this and get to that. It's not about that at all. It's all about that relationship and looking after people.
Yeah. I think by the time the funeral comes, in one essence, the funeral director should be in the background. It's the family, isn't it? And the person that's passed away that is at the forefront of that day. It's not about the funeral director. They're in the background silently doing their role, making sure everything's come together.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Definitely. And I guess in one sense, it maybe angers me, upsets me a little bit when I see people in the industry that try and make it about them.
Yeah.
And it's not about them. We see it all over the country where it happens like that. So it's just be true to people and just do whatever they want you to do and look after them. That's all we're going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so for one last thing for today then,
Yeah.
Can you think of a memorable moment where all of the team have come together to make a really big impact for somebody that's passed away or the family of somebody that's passed away? I mean, I'm sure there's loads of things that have happened over the years, but I guess when everybody gets involved, there's going to be the odd occasion where there's a touch point with every member of the team, not just one or two. And I guess how we support each other through that as well. Because we'll have scenarios where 2 or 3 of the team members have maybe been involved with somebody that's been tragically taken from us.
Yeah.
And then it's how we then support them and look after our own welfare as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And still keep it as this team that doesn't seem unbroken in any way.
Yeah. I think for me, probably it is more when we've lost somebody young in the community, by whatever means. I think that touches everybody in a very different way. And I think we all do come together in that respect because as business owners, we're looking down at the team as, I won't say looking down, but we're looking over them to make sure mentally and health-wise they're all okay. I think then, the funeral directors and the managers are looking down on the team in the same way. I think then you've got your mortuary and admin side looking at each other and looking out for each other. And I think where it's a young person, it's a very different vibe. And I do feel extremely proud
Another time to get emotional, Nichola.
When I can see, as a team, we're really coming together. I mean, it's great. Every day is great to see everybody working away, and we can be sat in a side office, can't we, in a funeral home, and be listening to the team talking in the main office or on the phone. And we often say that they blow our minds, don't they? We say, wow, listen to them, they're amazing. And we sometimes say, can you remember when they first started? And we have those conversations, don't we?
And it's not necessarily things we've taught them either, is
No.
it? It's just them being themselves.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, when it's a young person that's died, we all come together.
It's just like you feel like everything's all of a sudden just come really tight.
Yeah.
And everything means everything.
Yeah.
Done to every conversation, there's more attention paid to it in the team. I mean, not necessarily with the family, but in the team. And you're listening out for key things from members of the team if they need additional support.
Yeah.
The WhatsApp group gets a little bit more action on it on a night time, doesn't it? Where you're talking to each other and keeping people involved.
Yeah, and I think, it's lovely, isn't it? The supporting each other by, even saying things like, thanks for today, or thanks for helping me with whatever. There's a lot of that goes on, and it's just...
There's a lot of love between the team, isn't there? Yeah, we see that every day.
Yeah, just brilliant.
Okay. So we'll finish off for today. Thanks for listening and watching, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Just Talk Funerals.
We really care about what you think. We'd love your feedback on the subjects raised today, or maybe you have a question you would like us to talk about in a future episode. You can contact us by emailing podcast@threadgoldfunerals.com.
If you'd like to know more about what we do and the services we offer, then please head to jasonthreadgoldfuneraldirector.com. Thank you for joining us today, and see you next time.